joined now by Duke Henderson, chairman of Falkirk FC. Duke, a lot of press at the moment about league reconstruction, and I see you seem to be like the forerunner and the champion of it. Do you want to kind of explain a bit what the club's thoughts are and what yours are?
Well, I've been considering the shape of Scottish football together with colleagues on the board and with other friends I've got in Scottish football for, I would say, the last 6 months in a kind of serious way. And there are major weaknesses in our game. We know that our international side isn't competing. We know that our club sides, when they play in Europe, are not performing as they used to perform and should be performing today. And we begin to see the deterioration in some of the attendances, both in the Premier League and in some of the other leagues. And we can't just let this happen. We've got to look and see, can something be done to stop the rot, if you like. I talk to coaches quite regularly, particularly our own coaches, and they tell me that one of the problems, especially of bringing through talented players, is that young players don't get the opportunity to play full-time football because of the structure of the leagues. There's too much tension in the leagues, there's too much risk of relegation, there's too much risk of not being promoted. Therefore, there's an inclination to play older players, which means we're not bringing through young players. And that's one of the main reasons why we've got to reconstruct our league system. I've argued that, as I started to argue at the annual general meeting of the football club, that there should be a 16-club league in the Premier League, and then we should restructure the other leagues to fit in with that. It might mean there's one or two new clubs come into Scottish football at the lower level. That, in a sense, is only my view. I don't expect that it's only that my particular view is the one that will achieve consensus in Scottish football. But what is important is that we have a debate and a proper discussion and do it quickly about what needs to be addressed and how we can address it. And Tuesday's meeting in Glasgow of the SPFL clubs is an opportunity to do that. It's the end of the 3-year moratorium when we all agreed there'd be no restructuring during the period when the playoffs were being tested. I think the playoffs have been successful, and I'd certainly want to keep them in any structure. But we have the opportunity from this summer to make changes if we all feel that they need to be made. And that's a discussion I hope will be initiated at Tuesday's meeting. And there'll be some review system, whatever they choose to adopt, and I hope they will adopt one over the next couple of months. We've got to get something in position to be implemented either at the end of this season or hopefully at the end of next season, if it's not possible as quickly as this summer.
What's the kind of process for change in the league's rules for how many votes do you need to get a change through? Because it's all changed from the old SPL days.
Yeah, it's very complicated, and it partly depends on what the change is. But you've essentially got to get the support of Premier clubs. If you don't have the support of Premier clubs, then it won't go through. So the first thing is to make sure you get the maximum number of Premier clubs behind any proposal. And then you've got to get as many other clubs from the other parts of the league structure to back the same proposal. And ultimately, if you don't have 75% of the clubs, then you can't get things through. So there are complicated rules, and I think a review body has to look at what's best for Scottish football and then argue the case that they come up with in any review. And then hopefully people will, throughout the game, will see that there needs to be change. We can't all have our own way. We can't all act just in the interests of our own clubs. We've got to act in the interests of football as a whole. And I hope we can do that and begin to change, turn things round, give us an international side a better opportunity, give our club sides in Europe a better opportunity, and give us all a better game regardless of where we are in the structures.